Welcome to Levels by Loveabilities. We will begin level 3 momentarily. But before we get started with this episode, I wanted to say sorry that it took so long to release this latest one. With these podcast episodes, I want to release them when I feel like it's my best work. I have everything in line of what I want to address and what I want to go over and what I want to say. This outline today, 5 pages long. And so let me know after this episode what else you guys would like to hear from me about streaming, gaming, lifestyle content, whatever you guys want to hear. Let me know. I'll go into more detail. I'll dive in deeper to those episodes. And yeah. So, will a Twitch streamer date you? No. Oh no. At least not me. Y'all be safe, okay? Disclaimer. I'm aware there have been many successful we met on Twitch relationships, and I'm so happy for you guys, okay? However, in this episode, we're gonna go over why the whole I'm in love with a streamer energy can be dangerous, toxic, and extremely draining, okay? So you will hear me break down this episode into 3 sections only today, because if I broke down every single aspect of to why this cannot work, we would be here all night and day, besties. So, listen, each of these segments could also have their own episodes, which would be well over hours long. But for time and attention span's sake, we will stick to 3 main components today. The first one being unrequited love / parasocial relationships. Unrequited meaning not returned or rewarded. All of my streamer friends have experienced this, unfortunately, at least once in their streaming career. Male, female, she, they, them, whoever. We've especially seen this in a scenario where a viewer will support the stream, perhaps in the form of money or Twitch currency or just, time, attention, etc., etc. Let's set this scene. How about that? A Twitch viewer enters your stream. We'll call him Sean Ray J. Okay, so Sean Ray J really enjoys your stream, really enjoys the content, wants to support you. He really likes your vibe, your energy. He gifts you 5 subs. He joins the Discord server, super active in there. He enters his way into your community and maybe, plays on days that you play with viewers with you. And, when you host like special events, he's there. And as he starts spending more time around you, he confuses the Twitch connection with romantic feelings. So you being the streamer, most likely you're going to treat your viewers with respect and you value their voices in conversations in order to keep the chat active and engaging. Of course, we're asking open-ended questions. We're getting to know each other on, this level, of course. Not even realizing you, the streamer, you're not even realizing that this person is falling for you or catching feelings because you are simply just turning on your OBS, click and go live. You're trying to enjoy your Apex games, your Valorant games, whatever you're doing. And you as the streamer, you might be single. You might be in a relationship already. You might be, caught up in an entanglement. Who the hell knows? And that's your business. And whether you want to have that be known or not in your stream, your relationship status, that is your business. And I know it's super tricky where there have been times where people hide that part of their lives. And then when they pop out with a whole ass wife, kids, husband, whatever, everyone's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you were hiding this, like blah, 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 like you tricked us. It's like, when did I ever say whatever, It's, if you want to keep that side private, I encourage you to, because miserable people like to ruin good things in hopes that others will join them in their low lives and like stoop down to their level and just be a whole big miserable party, whatever. But let's circle this back to like the parasocial relationship. The definition reads, parasocial relationships are one-sided relationships where one person extends emotional energy, interest, and time, and the other party, the persona, is completely unaware of the other's existence. Now, that might be hard to hear because it introduces the argument of, well, they know I exist, so it's not like I'm invisible. It's not, one-sided. Like, they know who I am. I support their streams. But that's just the thing about this kind of entitlement mindset some people have. And just as a disclaimer as well, like, I'm not saying you have to look out for every, George, every Tom, every, Savannah that comes into your chat of like their ill intentions or their hidden motives or agendas. But I've had many occasions where I have been warm and welcoming and inclusive, as I am to all members, all subs, all viewers, anyone like that passes by my stream. We like to have fun. We like to, have some jokes here and there. So just, and I've extended this kindness and I've extended this like sweet side to these people just for them to like throw it back in my face as if they, and not in the good throw it back, like throw it back in my face as if they deserve special treatment over other people in my community, where I like to have like an even level playing field. Like, I don't care, if you're a regular viewer, tier 3 sub, if you're a Twitch partner that got your badge 10 years ago and you still flex your check mark around, like, I don't care. Like, I'm giving you the same energy you give me always. And anyone listening to this podcast, you guys know, like, that's how I am. So they've confused this kindness for flirtation. They've confused the game invitations for dates or subs for seduction. It is insane, okay? Imagine, okay, now let's set another scene. Just to give you guys like how ridiculous on my end of things is, like the streamer being the one that has to deal with this kind of thing. Like, let me like set this up for you. Okay, so imagine I'm pulling up to Cane's, okay? And I'm pulling up to the drive-thru and I say to the guy working there, I'm like, hey, like, I've been here, I've bought 100 box combos from you this month. Like, do you, like, are we dating? Like, you kind of led me on. Like, I just don't understand why I'm not getting special treatment when I walk in the fucking restaurant, okay? Like, you owe me a date. Like, what do you mean you weren't hitting on me when you said my total was like 816 at the first window? Like, they would call the cops. They'd be like, bitch, you're crazy. Like, we got a line going. Get the fuck out of here. Like, it's insane. Like, just, I don't even fucking know. Anyways, so getting a little fired up here. So anyways, and this is going to be a long episode. I already know it's going to be like a little bit of a long episode, but I'm going to try to keep it moving, keep it popping, keep it cool. So anyways, like I said before, each of these topics in this episode could definitely take a deeper dive with more specific examples, story times. If y'all would like me to share those or be interested in some of those, I got them. I got them. Unfortunately, I got them. Just around the whole idea of unrequited love that led to unsubscriptions to my channel. So just let me know if you guys want to hear those, because I do have quite a few examples. So I would like to move on to the second topic here. And I'm actually doing pretty good on time. So the second topic on this one is titled Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes. In my streaming career, I have come across quite a few players in the game that have the same strategies when it comes to this gotta catch them all, gotta collect them all, e-girl, Olympics. and I don't like using the word e-girl. However, that's like just somehow like, you know, what these men simply see women as on the internet, and they define them, and they have like, you know, they have like their little NFTs that they want the mint version to benefit off of in the long run. And oftentimes they pick candidates that they know that they can, you know, manipulate and go back to every time for like a little ego boost or some kind of status recognition, or, you know, just that, those whole 9 yards of some interesting players in the game. Now, this is moving into a little bit more of a personal dive. And for me, I used to be a weak, wounded, vulnerable woman. And I thought it was extremely special and like extraordinary, the connections or relationships that I found myself pursuing. And later on, through many like self-love, self-discovery journeys, you know, I'm doing a lot better now, but I would play their stupid games, and then I would be so surprised when I would be winning these stupid prizes, of just not getting what I deserve or what I need, and them kind of just draining my energy and essentially leaving, like they're like charging up their system, you know, to go to the next one. Like they're using all my energy and all my connection and leave me drained, and then they're moving on and doing the same thing. They're like, oh well, done here, let's go to the next one, see what that has to offer. You know, it's like a little game. And so I want to specifically share a story. This was years ago, and I'm talking when I was fresh into the gaming industry, and I didn't really know a whole lot of like, you know, I was very starstruck. I think something that I want to touch base on too is when you're first entering this scene, when I was like 17, 18, 19, I'm 25 now. You know, you're entering this scene, and it's easy to be starstruck by these influencers or professional players or these icons that you look up to, you get inspiration from, or like, you know, like I remember on TikTok right now, there's like a bunch of people talking about Emma Chamberlain's podcast of like, is influencing dead? And like this and that, of just like, it's so easy for anyone to just have like a million followers, and, you know, it's hard for people to be like celebrities and stuff like that. But like back then, when you were like kind of like entering this scene and you would see someone with like this significant status, and you're like, whoa, like that's like, you know, either you get inspired or you're like, oh wow, like I really like, you know, their content or how they are, et cetera, like, you know, whatever. So years ago, this was back, like I said, like when I first kind of was getting, you know, my feet wet in the industry and stuff like that. I was talking to this man, and I remember specifically thinking like, wow, like no one knows him like I do. He always comes back to me because he feels safe and heard, and we just have something so real, and like the tension between us is like indescribable. All while I was like young, dumb, naive, when he was actively on and off with his girlfriend at the time. It was extremely disappointing because he would be, you know, swearing up and down that I'm so special and this and that, and like our connection was, you know, I just whatever. And meanwhile, while he's texting me all this and like calling me, I see him like uploading on YouTube question and answer time with my girlfriend. Like, okay, like what the fuck? Okay. So, and also, we never met. Like he was living in Canada. Like he never made plans to actually see me. Red flag, back it up, back it up, back it up. He would check in from time to time, of course, to get his fix. He'd be like, when like he was like struggling, or he needed like a little ego boost, or, you know, like it would never be like a, hey, how are you doing? Like, what's new with you? It would like always be about him. And like, of course, me being me, I'm like, oh my God, like, like making him feel better, like talking him through it, you know, like he's getting his fix, and I'm like, okay. So, and after a while, things just like fizzled out. I don't know where else he was getting his supply from. Who the fuck knows? Him and that girlfriend like broke up. He went down quite a rabbit hole of like, some questionable choices and decisions. Fast forward years later, I found myself still answering the FaceTime call when he was in a really extremely dark place, just because like that's how I am. And that's something I wear my heart on my sleeve. And when I actually care for and have so much love for someone, like it sounds so stupid, but I do truly believe like there is a certain like magic that happens with each connection that I make. And so if you come to me and you need something, or you don't know where else to go, or you just need someone to be there, I'm always there for people. There have been times where like I truly have to like block out, delete, and you know, X people out of the equation. But for someone that I really did think that we had, this strong connection, like I love them as a person, but I did not necessarily love how they treated me. Fast forward years later, I was answering this phone call. But when I answered it, and mind you, we hadn't talked in like a really long time, and I knew something was up. I knew something was up, and he FaceTimed me, and he was popping these pills, and there was just this blank stare. Like I remember, like I was like in my old setup room. If you guys remember, like my fireplace in the background, like I was back at my parents' house. I was like sitting there on the phone, like there was just like nothing behind his eyes. Like I couldn't even recognize who I was talking to. Like I could not get through at all. Like no matter what I was saying, no matter what I did, I was so overwhelmed. I was like, I just knew after that, like I wasn't the one that was going to be able to save him. I wasn't responsible for anyone's life like but my own. And when people come back to my life, you know, now I have the mindset of, if you are coming back into my life or attempting to open that door again, it's almost insulting that they think they know everything about me still, or I'm the same girl, or they have the same access, when, I went through some dark times myself, and they had no clue. They didn't even care to call. They didn't check up on me. You know, Going back to like, to wrap up the story time of that man, like I no longer answer though. I don't know. I no longer answer, period. Like I think, it was a very interesting phase in my life, I guess you could say. And I'll conclude that by just saying, when it rains, it pours. And moving forward, I just want you guys to be cautious of, who is it you're truly falling for, because anyone can, make these empty promises, and they can swear up and down you're the only one. Meanwhile, they're in, who knows DMs, who knows what they're doing with their free time, truly. So for, my long distance peeps and stuff like that, just be really careful and cautious. Because, with being so far and really just relying on what they're telling you, and instead of like what you're seeing for yourself, like make sure you are protecting you at the end of the day. Which leads me into the next, and not conclusion, but this is the third point of the podcast, is protecting your peace and your boundaries and your safety. So this is the concluding topic, because I had to learn so many times the extremely hard way of being selfish and enforcing boundaries to ensure that I was safe and secure. The internet is a great tool to use to grow your brand and your business and connections and more. Whatever you're seeking, you can find by a couple clicks of some buttons. But with building whatever you want, you need to also build boundaries along with them and tough skin, because we can get into confidence and insecurities and stepping into your divine and powerful self in another episode, if you guys would like me to kind of step into that, because for the longest time, and I'm still figuring things out about myself. I'm not sitting up here saying, "Oh, I am perfectly healed and I am a-okay every day and I don't get insecure." That's not real. Everyone always emphasizes the highlight reel portion of social media and influencing. And that, I'm the type of girl where, if I'm not saying it, my face will. And I'm super upfront with how I feel. And I used to always bottle it in. And I still am trying to practice letting people in and letting my guard down, just because I've been fucked over so many times where it's hard for someone to like get me to fully trust them. And I'm super content with my circle of supporters and people in my life, because I know who has good intentions for me now. But it is extremely draining and concerning how many freaks, creeps, and weirdos lurk the halls of the internet. You have trolls commenting and picking apart your appearance on any post. They don't care if it's sponsored or not. They're like, "Oh my God." Like, I remember I did a sponsored stream and post for Urban Decay, and like I had some troll like make new Twitter accounts being like, "Oh my God, like this is her before," and like they inserted a picture of me as if I don't know what I already look like. But thanks for the engagement. Love ya. Anyways, we have these Reddit absolute perverts who jerk off to anything and everything. I'm not even kidding. Just recently, there was a Reddit post going around of not only one, but two men engaging in these activities on a simple selfie of mine. And there was nothing I could do about it. People brought it to my attention. It was interesting because one approach was from an anonymous account on my Instagram, and they slid in my DMs and they said, in quotations, "Hey, I found something out about you, ... end quotes." And first of all, if I'm finding this out for the first time too, bestie, let's not act like this is something that was in my control, or like I'm hiding, or like what do you mean? Like, you found this out about me? Like, that's not my fault. That is not my fault. That's not my job to be, patrolling Reddit and making sure. Like, what the hell? I had no idea until you pointed that out. Okay. Also, all right, another story time. Wake up. Okay, listen, if you guys are snoozing through this episode, wake up. Okay, so there was also someone on Twitter and TikTok making, how like some people have like celebrities, or like even like famous streamers, they have like these fan pages dedicated to them, making like cute little montages of videos and pictures. I had one dedicated to me, but it wasn't like the cute celebrity montage. It was more of them pretending to be me. Like, the mental illness was definitely showing love, and they would like caption these videos with things saying, "Hey," like pretending to be me. They're like, "Hey, I'm Kelly and I'm a Twitch slut that sold my soul to the devil." And I'm like, "Sir, if I had sold my soul, don't you think I'd be averaging some more viewers, some more subs, some more whatever? Like, come on. You think I'm going to be fumbling the fucking bag? I know my worth. This is a bitch that knows her worth now. So come on." Anyways, it wasn't that flattering. And it was also, again, out of my control. So that's why you really got to have some thick skin on whatever platform you are using as your main source of whatever you're seeking. So unfortunately, I can't take down every catfish page, every hater page, every, depending on your social media, of course, you can absolutely delete the comments on your videos. And I definitely have. When people thought I took that plate right from them, and they were just completely either wrong or weird or just irritating. And not in my comment section. Thank you and goodbye. With putting the spotlight on yourself and your stream, I want to simply encourage you to take the necessary steps in order to protect yourself as much as you can, here's the thing. You do not, first of all, you don't owe anyone shit. You do not have to tell anyone where you're from. You don't have to tell anyone your relationship status. You don't owe anyone special treatment simply because they used their free Prime gaming sub on you this month. Like, thanks, but sometimes we don't need $4.99 that bad, if that, okay? So the true supporters and people that are supposed to be in your life, in your circle, will simply align with your natural and genuine energy. And they won't try to drain you. They won't try to take, and they won't try to insinuate you're coming off a certain way, or anything, any assumption that they're making of you does not define you. So that's why it's really important to know who you are and stand on your own 2 feet. Also, fill your atmosphere with those who you truly get inspired by and feel safe around. You are in control of who has access to you. Just because someone is not necessarily breaking a traditional stream rule that you have in your chat doesn't mean that you can't randomly ban them because they're irritating you or upsetting you or offending you. Like, you hold the power. So I want you to take control and stand up for yourself. We're taught at a young age, like, stand up for yourself, be your own person. Stand up for yourself. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and wrap this episode up. If you are a goal-oriented, hardworking woman or man or they or whatever you identify as, trying to make it in this industry, I promise you do not have to answer every single "hey, how are you?" DM to grow your community or your brand. Because listen, baby, once they get in them DMs, they will "hey, how are you" to death. Set a boundary and be like, "Hey, I'm live from so-and-so time. If you have a schedule, that's great. I don't. It doesn't work for me, but to each their own." Like, if I sat here all day and replied to every single "hey, how are you" DM that I got after I just streamed for 10 hours straight, what do I look like? No, that's time you could be recording, you could be streaming, you could be planning, you could be focusing and growing. Don't let these creeps, bums, or fuckboys, with like their little 7-year-old check mark that they haven't streamed since the platform first came out, tell you anything about how you want to run your channel and your socials and your entire persona. The takers will take until you are drained. And I guess it just kind of circles back to going into this streaming, content creation, this whole environment. Make sure that you are just taking care of yourself. It can be very overwhelming trying to do 6 million things at once on your own, and you're trial and erroring so many strategies to grow your brand. Like, I can tell you guys, again, like, this can be like other podcast episodes if you guys want to hear about times that I've failed. There have been definitely times where I had a plan and I had a goal, or I had an idea, or I had an event that I was doing, and it didn't go the way I was planning. A lot of them, I'm super anxious, and like, I worry about, like, I'm a perfectionist as well. So I worry about if something's going to go exactly how I want it to. 9 times out of 10, it's going to go better than you even thought. I'm definitely optimistic in that mindset. I don't really get along with super pessimistic people. If you're a be realistic ass bitch, we're probably not going to get along, because I like to shoot for the stars. Once I achieve a goal, I'm already thinking about the next one. And it's a great worth ethic to have. But I have found myself throughout the years getting overwhelmed and putting too much on my plate. And then, your eyes are bigger than your stomach sometimes of, loading all that on. And then you're like, well, shoot, now I'm wasting this time, or I feel overwhelmed with this, or I don't think I'm going to meet this deadline, or I'm not ready to do this. That's why it took me so long to release this episode of the podcast, is because I wanted it to be something that I truly was passionate about, and I wanted to give you guys the energy that it deserved, because it's a really good episode. Like, not to, not to be all like that, but I wanted to deliver this in a certain way, and I think I did capture that today. Now listen, I'm totally running late on my streaming schedule today because I was gonna do sub games and stuff like that, but sometimes you don't feel super motivated or inspired. Like, I laid in my bed all afternoon because I was like, I don't feel like doing it, but I know I'll feel very rewarded and very fulfilled after I get this done. And you guys have been asking for it, so I'm like, I got you guys. But I hope this episode resonated or made some of you guys laugh a little bit. There is so much I could share and go into heavy detail, and I will, but for a later date. Whatever you guys want to hear, behind the scenes things, how I run my streams, how I got to where I am, tea, dirty laundry, you name it, I got it. What would you guys like to hear from me next? Please leave it in the comments or at me on Twitter. And oh my gosh, wait, if you guys are listening to this, I want you, if you have Instagram, I think it's the coolest damn thing in the world seeing you guys post my podcast on your stories and be like, oh my, and like with like your favorite quote from the episode or like something like that to, kind of, get the word out there. Like, okay, Levels by Loveabilities, we on Spotify, we on YouTube, we're out here. So yeah, congratulations. You have now moved on to level 2.